I'm in Thorpe, Wisconsin, and you know, the way people talk, you would think this whole state is made of cheese. Guess what? It is. The vast array of cheddars and colby and Swiss, but also a whole lot of other varieties that you would not necessarily associate with Wisconsin, including, and I gotta apologize in advance, there's probably gonna be a lot of puns in this show. It's gonna be hard for me to resist. One that's already gotten great international acclaim after just 16 years. I gotta say, it's Gouda Nuff for me. Come on, let me take you where the food comes from. America is the melting pot of the world. You know what else melts really good? Cheese. This is a story of a Dutch woman who turned a bad case of homesickness into some of the world's finest cheese. Marieke, here it is. What a feast. And this is all Gouda. This is all your Gouda. It should be maybe Greta instead of Gouda, because it's the most fabulous Gouda cheese I've ever had. All right, now we're gonna sample through some of this, but I wanna take you back a little bit. It's pretty clear this is not a Wisconsin accent.
No,
it's a lovely lilt. You're from the Netherlands, Holland. That's where you were born, that's where you were raised, that's where you started life professionally and personally, and then you tore it all up and came to Wisconsin. Tell me that story while I taste some of this spread.
You definitely should go and try some. So yeah, born and raised in a tiny little country in Europe that fits about 5 times in the state of Wisconsin.
Right.
And we have 3 times more people than we have here in Wisconsin, because Holland has about 18 million. Which then, if you have so many people on such a small area, it makes land very expensive, and also dairy farming. It's a lot of hard work, and not every hour gets paid, and it's also like you have a certain passion that you cannot deny. So, but yeah, if you want to grow a little bit more, it's hard. So we went outside of Wisconsin. We saw different countries. We went to Denmark, Germany, Canada, Switzerland, so different countries were visited, and we ended up here in Wisconsin, because I have to say, if you love cows, where else can you go? So I actually followed Rolf across the ocean, and he came in May 2002, and I followed him in December 2003. I had 10,000 euros. I was missing my cheese. I remember one night, and this is really how it was, you know, how you have those nights that you cannot sleep and you just toss and turn. And I heard a cow calving, and I was just thinking about, we have family or friends coming, and I'm like, oh, I have to call them and let them know, bring me some good Gouda. Because even though, well, there were so many cheeses here in the shelf, I just couldn't find good Gouda, because I do not think the Dutch sent their best cheeses overseas. But I don't say it out loud, of course. But
no, not, and especially not on television.
Especially not. So, so I was always missing my Gouda from Holland. Wanted to start my business before I turned 30, and I had 10,000 euros, so it had to be not too much of an investment. And then I heard the cow calving. I'm like, that's it. We have the good Wisconsin milk right here, and I'm missing cheese. So let's do it. So with the birth of the calf, I always say, was the birth of the Gouda.
How many generations of cheesemakers in your family back home in Holland?
None. I had no idea. I had an idea, but I never made cheese before, so I was kind of selfish of me. I had a huge problem. When I had the idea, I did not know how to make it. So that was one of the critical problems I was facing.
You're a family of Dutch dairy people who then become a family of Wisconsin dairy people. Then you decide, I'm going to become a cheesemaker. What are you watching YouTube videos? How do you learn, especially in a state where you got to have a license to call yourself a cheesemaker? Where do you start?
Yeah, I'd never done it before, so I thought I could do it. So actually I got in contact with this organization. They told me to get my cheesemaker's license, so I learned about food safety and pasteurization, which I didn't want to do really. I wanted to do raw milk because I felt like we having control of our own milk source. We're on top of things.
And already you've won countless awards for your cheese.
Yeah.
Way over 200 at the significant national and international competition level in 16 years. Marieke, there's medals and trophies and awards and plaques on every wall of this place. You're kind of lousy with them. That's a pretty good track record already.
Yes, I do like winning, but it's such. Besides that, it's such a big compliment, and it's very rewarding, and it keeps you sharp. You know, you want to make sure that we don't make special batches for the award competition. We grab the wheel from the shelf and we look at it, because the outside you can have some deductions from the outside. So that's the only thing we can test. And so we do want to make sure that all our cheeses are actually award winners, and that if we win an award and people order their cheeses, that it's not a different flavor. No, it's exactly what the judges tried. And but it's between consumer and judges or competition, you have a difference too. So our flavoring is always like, judges have the tendency to say that we over flavor, while consumers will tell you not enough flavor. Yeah, or not enough flavor even.
Not asking you to give away shop secrets or anything like that, but roughly how much cheese do you produce in a day, a week, a year? Or you're not going to tell us numbers again?
No, I will. I will tell you. So you know how you have to continue eating Gouda. So a lot. So because I would love to be the mainstream Gouda in the United States.
That's a good idea. I like that.
I want to be in everybody's refrigerator at least once. So, but yeah. So we started off that first year. So granted, we started on 22 November 2006. The store opened on December 18th, and I might have made that first year 60 wheels maybe. Maybe not even. And last year we produced about 35,000 wheels.
Oh wow!
But this year we're gonna even up it up. We're gonna go to 1 million pounds of cheese.
1 million pounds of cheese.
That's gonna be, and then we slowly hope within the next 2-3 years to hit the 2.2 million maybe, or I don't know. So we'll see.
It shouldn't be a remarkable part of your story, but it is a remarkable part of your story. There are women in the cheese world, especially in the US, especially in Wisconsin. You already have your license, you've had your cheesemaker's license for a long time. Now you're looking to become a cheese master? Is that the term?
So I never thought I would be happy to go back into the books for another 3 years. And they take it, well, it's a very high-level program where they come every 3 months and sample your cheese to make sure that the Gouda is still within the standards. And after 3 years, if I do everything right, I will become the third female master cheesemaker. The third one. And the first one retired, I believe. And the first farmstead cheesemaker. And the first farmstead. Yeah.
And there's something to hang a hat on.
And that's another thing. We wanted to educate. As I started making cheese, I used to pick up a piece of cheese and think, wow, that's a lot of money. Now I pick up a cheese and think that's not enough money.
Right.
So it is very important to educate our consumers too. So we opened our doors for them. They can come and see how we milk our cows, how passionate we are for our dairy, and then how we make it, how something so liquid and so nutritional turns in so many shapes, like cheese and whipped cream and ice cream and yogurt and sour cream. So, and that
I say it's the milk is the one food you can't throw away.
No.
You can't get rid of it. At every stage it turns into something else amazing.
And everybody could use a little bit more Gouda in their life, isn't it? So yeah, I remember when I just started it and my neighbor Tom says, Gouda, what is Gouda? He had no idea what Gouda was. So I had to explain him what Gouda was. And then his next question was like, are there enough Dutch people that will buy it, Marieke? Did you really think this through? So, and now we have like, well, major restaurants that actually advertise with Gouda on their hamburger and stuff. So,
Isn't that great? Isn't that great to see that and to see people embracing a local?
Yes.
We're seeing the local food movement. We're seeing people doing everything they can to avoid food waste and food miles, and just embracing that local culture. It's wonderful to have that local flavor, but a national reach.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something that COVID, the pandemic, actually taught us a little bit too, like try to source it around you, do domestic first. I know there's wonderful cheeses from all over the world, but how important it is to make sure that you support your local producers.
Right.
And know where the food comes from. And that also brings other awareness like sustainability and the footprint and yeah, so we have to stick together a little bit, just like curds.
Okay, Marieke, we are here at the first step of the cheese. It's come through the pipes. What's the first thing we do?
We're gonna add
this
some
thing's
rennet.
chirping at us, you know.
Yes.
So this is rennet. This is what starts the process of turning milk to cheese.
And then slowly add it to it.
Slowly add the rennet to the
slow.
milk. And this is just hot milk at this point?
Not
What's
hot
in
milk. It's
warm
about
milk?
30 Celsius. So yeah, it's warm milk.
Okay.
But
So to us, to drink it, we'd go, this is warm milk.
it's gonna start coagulating as soon as it hits the milk.
So this is what starts to make, is this what starts that process of forming curds?
Mass.
And okay.
Yeah, solid mass.
All right.
With 30 minutes, between 25 and 30 minutes. Okay, you did it.
This is the next step.
Well,
We
yeah.
added the rennet to the warm milk. Now, what's happening here?
So then when after half an hour, when we add the rennet to it, it becomes a solid mass and we start cutting. And then you have the solid mass becomes the cheese curd and the liquid is the whey. So one of the difference with Gouda is that we don't ripen the curds in the whey itself, but we actually drain part of the whey and then we add we add warm water to it and wash the curds that way. So, and that's what's happening right now.
Okay.
And the curds are ready and we added some flavor to it. So you will smell.
Oh my gosh, it smells wonderful. And the difference from just the milk to this half hour of enzyme and stirring.
And I put the light on for you.
Oh, you can already smell something wonderful happening. This is what's happening in there now. If I just pop that in my mouth, it's okay?
Nope,
Not
you cannot
okay.
do it.
I cannot do that.
We're gonna wait.
So we're gonna wait, but you can imagine what it tastes like. It tastes like cheese curds.
So I'm not a scientific cheese maker. I'm more like a lucky one and I like to feel and touch the curd and see when it's ready.
Well, I think that's the difference between the science of cheese making and the art of cheese making.
Yes, but you can also be a musician that will. Like I feel like a musician that cannot read the notes. But now I'm going to school to become a master cheesemaker and I have to learn to read
Well, now
the
you have to
notes.
learn to sight read music.
Yeah.
Got it. You're already playing at Carnegie Hall.
Yes.
Now you gotta learn to
now I
read
need
the
to
sheet
actually
music.
need to write
Got
notes,
it,
so
got it, got
these
it.
are the notes.
This is what was in the vat.
Yes.
And it was in there your secret amount of time, which we're not gonna know how long that was. At this point in the process, is this curds and whey yet? Or what is this just about to become cheese?
This is watered down whey because we drained some of the
Okay, so it's already been drained some.
Water. Yes, and then this is the finished curd. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna do a,
Oh, wow, right
gonna-
under the surface.
yes. And then we always try to equalize it, so they might come now soon. And we have to make sure that we keep it equalized under the whey surface. So
it stays
otherwise
under
we're
the
gonna
top.
otherwise we get air into it, which doesn't create those nice holes.
Grab one, pop her in, and that's it? Okay. Oh, this feels
Make
like...
sure you keep your hands under it so you don't
Keep your
drop
hands
it
under
to the
it.
floor.
And it feels like a massive, very dense sponge cake. If you had baked this, you would be very unhappy. All right, here's my bin. I I didn't lose a curd. That was awesome.
You did it.
That square cube of Gouda curds and whey has turned into this beautiful round wheel of cheese that proves you can put a square peg in a round hole. There's hope for me yet. Marieke, these are our cured cheeses. Now they're about to go for a little swim, have a little bath. What is this? Number one, this tank is really deep. We just saw that whole rack of wheels go under and it's completely submerged. What's happening in here?
So that's one of the other unique, well, if people ask me what makes Gouda different from other cheeses, well, one of them, like with cheddar or colby, we do not add salt in by hand, but
So they add salt in before it gets to this point.
never.
Not for Gouda, but other cheeses.
Oh yeah, other,
But
yeah.
to make Gouda,
It's a
there's
different
no
way
salt added until you get to this step.
Yeah, brining is so important to have really, to contribute to the really authentic Gouda flavor.
So how long are they going to be in this tank, or is that another secret?
No, you can hold that. That's 60 hours.
60 hours.
Two and a half.
They'll soak in this brine for 60 hours. Then they're going to come out just like our friends who are looking lovely on this rack right over here.
Yes. From here, we're going into the aging room where
Okay.
the next step starts.
What are we about to do here? Because this is a question I've always had. That cheese coming out of the brine, it's a lovely, creamy, just off white color. But all the cheese we see on this rack's yellow, gold, red, brown. What happens to make them turn the colors and be what they are? Something tells me this is part of the process?
Yes, why our cheese is so yellow on the outside is because of the para coating that we add on. It's a food graded, like a paint that we brush on.
Okay.
That dries up like a breathable skin around the cheese, because the cheese will lose moisture as it ages, and our wooden shells kind of capture that, but it still protects the cheese. That is more like a glue that goes around it, and it still let the cheese breathe and let the moisture go through it, but it protects the wheel. So it is different between the para coating and the wax.
So what are we doing here?
We're gonna grab a wheel. Do
Okay.
you want to give me the honor to grab a wheel?
I would.
Let's do this one.
Be
It's
honored
calling
myself.
your name.
Right here?
Yes.
All right, plain raw batch 5615. This was made on May 4th of this year.
Perfect.
And we're in August now.
Yes.
So it goes right in the middle?
Yes.
All
On
right.
our Lazy Susan. And we dip
that's handy.
the brush. We put a little bit of the coating and
Little
we put it
coating.
in the middle.
How deep do I dip?
Just make sure you don't spill.
Okay.
So you,
Give her a twirl.
yeah, just like at home when you paint walls, you don't want it on your floors. So
You know, this seems to combine
You
all of the great Dutch things, the art of cheese, the art of painting. We're all in the same place.
you
All
can
right.
come on.
Put it
Yeah.
right here.
Yes, you did it.
And now, do I turn the Lazy Susan
Yeah.
or
And you paint it like Picasso
paint
does.
it? Ah,
There you
How about
go.
Van Gogh? Picasso's got nothing
Okay,
to do with
or a Rembrandt.
There we-
whatever you
there we
feel,
go.
Or a Vermeer.
There we
So
go.
You
So am
can
I looking
decide.
just to put a cover on the entire surface here?
Yes, you did phenomenal. Not so much.
Not so
No,
much.
you had more than enough already.
I already had enough.
Yes.
I've been told that before. Sometimes I'm too much.
Well, with Gouda, it can never be too much, but the coating we have to, because it still needs time to dry, and
Right.
otherwise it would take too long to dry, and it would crack. So, and you know how a painting never is done.
Sure,
It can always
art
do
is
something.
forever,
so I'm
right.
gonna do the finishing touches
Please
for
do.
you. So.
Now that's a master at work right there.
So you want to make sure, and you can use a sponge also. Everybody does it different, but you want to make sure you hit it right, and so.
She's getting all my excess off
And
the top.
still, the painting will never be done, so we'll paint it later again. So, but that's how you did it. So there you go. You're certified as
And now
a
this
cheese
one's-
coater.
I'm a cheese apprentice now.
And there we put it
It
back.
goes back on the rack. Now next time you take it off, will it flip? At what
Next
point?
time we do the other side.
So it
So
flips
this will
to the
take a
other
day
side?
to dry, and then we'll do the other side. You did it.
Awesome. So I now understand why these are a darker orange. They were aged longer, they had more coatings. They now have the famous Marieke Gouda label on them. They're ready to go. What I don't understand yet is why are these brown?
Well, these are our natural smoked Gouda. So after we have that one, well, we get the cheeses out of the brine from the basic recipe. We send them out to a smoker, and it naturally gets smoked south in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, it has the same yellow coating
So
on
this
it,
is the
but it
same-
shines through as the brown from the smoke.
That's the same cheese as this after that went through a smoker.
Yes,
You gotta love a good smoker, Marieke.
it is. So.
Fascinating. Marieke Gouda has already made an amazing journey from Holland to Wisconsin. Now it's got one last step out this door, onto a truck, on its way to you. This one's going home with me out here where the food comes from. Oh yeah, that's a good look for me.